Can you believe it? The honorary employee at McDonald's right now is actually the legendary Demon King Satan himself. Once the ruler of the great land of Ente Isla, he commanded power and fear across the entire continent. But not long ago, the brave hero led the United Knights in a fierce attack on the Demon King's castle, crushing the Demon King and his 4 loyal followers. Left with no choice, the Demon King opened a time-space portal and escaped to another world with his companion, the dog-headed golden lion Ashiel. When they opened their eyes again, they found themselves in the human world, their bodies transformed into human forms. Unable to speak the language, they were mistaken for foreigners by passing police officers. One of the officers even tried to take the Demon King in for a chat, but then Michelle snapped and lost it. The Demon King used hypnosis to get information about this world and its language from the officer. However, lacking magic power, he could no longer maintain his demonic form. The Demon King asked Michelle how much magic she had left. Is this what they call the legendary taxi summoning ritual? To survive in the human world, the Demon King first handled household registration and got himself an ID card, then went ahead and used the money he stole from the police to open a bank account. Why are you guys so good at this kind of paperwork? Due to extreme poverty, the Demon King had to rent a shabby little room. Luckily, the landlady, Xiao Mei, had an amazing figure, a beautiful face, and even offered them a bit of help. After going without food for 2 days, the Demon King fainted from hunger by evening. That's when they finally realized they'd need money to stay alive. Imagine the mighty Demon King actually having to go out and beg for help. He gave himself the name Mao Sadao, and all he had in his fridge was 2 cucumbers and a bottle of milk. That was his monthly ration. Soon, it was time for work. The Demon King rode off on his beloved headless horseman bike to start his shift. Unfortunately, it started raining halfway, and the red-haired girl beside him got soaked. He kindly offered her his umbrella. The Demon King was now working at McDonald's. Because of his hard-working and meticulous attitude, he earned the affection of his partner, the lowly girl Chiho, and thanks to his excellent performance, he was promoted to A-rank employee. On the way home, he ran into that same red-haired beauty again, and she told him she had actually planned to visit the store to say thank you. Coincidentally, she caught the Demon King trying to use magic to fix a machine. Even though he looked completely different, she had already seen through his real identity, and the Demon King realized she was none other than the hero Emilia. To chase after the fleeing Demon King, Emilia had also followed them into the time-space portal. Just as she said this, she pulled a small knife out of her bag. What? Is that thing from the bargain bin at Lopen convenience store? After arriving in the human world, the hero's strength was heavily suppressed, and she could no longer unleash the full power of her holy sword. She still tried to fight the Demon King with her tiny knife, but both of them ended up getting taken to the police station for some stern education, where they were mistaken for a bickering couple. Emilia, refusing to give up, declared that she remembered the Demon King's address and would settle the score next time they met. She even said she had already chopped up the umbrella he gave her. Seriously, who's the real demon here? Unlike the Demon King who started off broke with nothing, the hero had a god tier beginning in the human world. Using the name Emi Yusa, she worked as a customer service rep and lived in a fancy apartment. Sofa, TV, appliances, everything was top-notch. Her life was way more comfortable than the Demon King's. That night, the Demon King and Michelle had a lovely dinner, though the smashed cucumber dish did look a bit sad. Then came a knock at the door. It was Emilia. Michelle panicked and quickly locked the door. Poor Ashiel, locked outside like a stray. She'd never been treated like this before and immediately started crying by the pot. After the Demon King explained the situation, Michelle reluctantly let her in. Seeing the broken-down room, Emilia was shocked. She never expected the Demon King's life to be so pathetic. Back when she chased after him, she had entered the portal with the High Priest, but the portal closed midway, and only she made it through. Her magic was nearly gone, but still enough to take him down. Yet Emilia planned to use her remaining magic to find a way home. Hearing that the Demon King had no intention of harming her, she smugly shared her grand plan to climb from a part-time worker to store manager, saving money and rising in status, until one day she would become a respected big shot. Emilia didn't expect her opponent to be a hardcore middle school syndrome case. She got up and prepared to leave. Oh well, better just live honestly as a working citizen. The next day, still suspicious, she secretly returned to the Demon King's house to spy on his every move. These two sneaking around must be up to something evil, huh? They're just buying eggs from the supermarket? The following day, the surveillance continued. What? The Demon King shouted about going to battle but ended up at a bathhouse. After days of following them, she was finally convinced. He really was just a struggling corporate slave. After work, Emilia met with the Demon King at their usual spot. She noticed he actually seemed to enjoy this life and told him maybe he should just stay here and keep working. Stop dreaming about going back and wreaking havoc on Ente Isla. But suddenly, they were attacked out of nowhere, forcing the Love Alliance to run to safety. The Demon King recognized the magic attacks, magic bullets, meaning other world crossers had arrived. Since there wasn't much danger, Satan decided to head home. But when he got there, he noticed Emmy was still following him. Was this woman planning a midnight sneak attack? At that moment, Emilia froze with an embarrassed look. Who would have thought the hero would one day save the Demon King? Feeling a little soft-hearted, the Demon King brought her inside and even generously gave her 1,000 yen as travel fare. The next next day, Amelia received a mysterious call. It was the same person who attacked last night. They not only knew both her and the Demon King's true identities, but also swore to wipe them out completely. While the hero worked hard every day, the Demon King had fallen headfirst into the world of dating. Today, he was on a date with Chiho, who even shyly reached out to hold his hand. Oh my, things were getting out of control. At the cafe, Xiao Qian told the Demon King that she had recently been hearing strange voices, and he guessed they were special sound waves from another world that caused earthquakes when transmitted to Earth. He gently comforted her, saying, "Don't be afraid, I'm here with you," which moved Xiao Qian deeply. And just as she was about to confess her feelings, Amelia suddenly logged in and interrupted them, warning, "Girl, listen to me. This Demon King is way too dangerous for you." Xiao Qian thought Amelia was an ex trying to steal her man, sparking an intense confrontation between the two girls. But before things escalated further, the earth began to shake violently, and the entire building collapsed, though thankfully, no one was injured. Amelia tried to use magic to help Xiao Qian stay conscious, and because the Demon King had absorbed human fear, he transformed back into his true demonic form. Yet instead of attacking the hero, he smashed through walls to rescue people non-stop, leaving Amelia shocked that such a notorious demon would save lives. Watching the scene unfold, Amelia, who had crossed over to Earth, grew confused and remembered her childhood on a peaceful farm with her father, until one day the church took her away and told her she was not an ordinary person, but a child of angels. And soon after, her father's village was destroyed by the Demon King's army. Ever since then, she saw him as pure evil. Now, seeing him save people shook her faith, and the next day she visited his home to demand answers and to return the $1,000 she had borrowed. After all, a hero borrowing money from a Demon King was humiliating. But as she was leaving, she tripped and fell down the stairs again, breaking down in frustration and shouting, "Why do you treat everyone on Earth with warmth, but in our world, you slaughtered humans?" The Demon King, watching her cry, could only apologize silently, admitting he never truly understood humans, or even himself, and had done terrible things. Feeling betrayed, Xiao Qian screamed, "You two really are a couple," and ran away crying, leaving the three stunned. Just then, their mysterious landlord, Xiao Mei, appeared and shockingly revealed that she knew the true identities of all of them. She warned the Demon King that if he didn't go after Xiao Qian quickly, something irreversible might happen, but they were too late. A moody young man full of edgy energy had already kidnapped Xiao Qian, and he was none other than Lucifer, one of the Demon King's 4 generals, now working alongside the hero's former priest Orba, who betrayed Amelia in pursuit of greater power. The Demon King scoffed at such a cliché betrayal plot, saying even bad movies wouldn't write this garbage. Mention of movies made Michelle furious. "You watched a movie without me, you shameless freeloader? Do you know how hard I work every day?" But right then, a magic blast hit her, knocking her down, and in her final breath she muttered, "Movies are half price on the 1st of every month. Don't forget, Lucifer absorbed negative emotions to fuel her magic, and with both of them severely injured, they tried to flee but were soon captured. Orba then opened fire shamelessly from behind, and though times had changed, facing an ambush from both sides, the Demon King used the last of his power to warp space and escape with Amelia to the collapsed train station from yesterday. But before they could catch their breath, Lucifer found them again and blasted the Demon King through the chest, leaving him motionless on the ground. Gloating, Lucifer unleashed her ultimate move, blowing up the overpass in front of the station to feed off human despair and regain her strength. What she didn't expect was that the Demon King could also absorb this negative energy. Soon he resurrected, fully healed. Amelia summoned her sacred sword using the last of her divine artifact's power, and the Demon King even cast a protective barrier to avoid hurting civilians. A massive battle was about to begin, and Amelia charged straight at Lucifer, determined to return the favor. But without a restored artifact, she couldn't match Lucifer's power. Thankfully, a fully recovered Michelle arrived in time and rescued her. With the two of them teaming up, they quickly overpowered Lucifer. Meanwhile, the furious Demon King unleashed his ultimate move, delivering a brutal beating to Lucifer. After the dust settled, the Demon King finally revealed his true identity to Xiao Qian, and she was touched by his honesty. Her affection for him shot up to 108.6. The hero's 2 companions also arrived on Earth after receiving word, while Lucifer, now defeated and renamed Qing Yuan, became a sponsor living at the Demon King's house, responsible for gathering intel online about how to recharge magical power on Earth. But when the Demon King returned home the next day, he found both Michelle and Qing Yuan collapsed on the ground. Who could possibly harm 2 demon generals at the same time? A trembling Michelle warned him, "Whatever you do, don't open that envelope. It contains something even demons fear." It was the landlord Xiao Mei's irresistible sexiness. Have you heard of the 7 campus horror legends? A blood-soaked statue walking at midnight, cursed books hidden in the library. Qing Yuan, a hacking genius, quickly discovered a terrifying rumor about the abandoned school nearby. It was said demons might be hiding there. Coincidentally, Xiao Qian attended that school, and from her, the Demon King learned that eerie roars sometimes echoed from a classroom no one could open, and shadows of demons would appear in the windows. Xiao Qian bravely volunteered to lead them there to investigate. As they explored, she recounted other ghost legends on the upper floors, sending shivers down Satan's frighten little star's spine. Even the Demon King was scared of ghosts. Just then, Qingyuan called and suggested that the sealed classroom might contain a portal that could replenish magic. No wonder she was one of the most reliable 4 generals. Suddenly, a terrifying presence surged forth, and the Demon King and Michelle immediately prepared for battle. Michelle even grabbed Xiao Mei's swimsuit cover-up as a charm. But to their surprise, it was just Emilia who had secretly followed them, fearing the Demon King would do something reckless again. After a loud commotion, they finally arrived at the sealed classroom and opened the door, only to find signs that someone had been living there for a long time. And in the center of the room, a gaming console sat proudly. Just then, Qingyuan's voice rang through the phone again. "Thanks, Demon Bro, for helping me find my console." Turns out she and Orba had once activated a portal here. The girl had once passed through a teleportation gate and lived in this world for a while, but when she left, she accidentally left her gaming console behind, so she investigated the rescue team just to ask the Demon King to retrieve it for her. How ridiculous. The Demon King was furious, and the consequences were serious. Meanwhile, hero Emilia received a package from her subordinates containing a man-made holy artifact, which instantly boosted her confidence. She decided to pay the Demon King a visit to see if he had been behaving lately, only to find a cute girl alone in his house. Shocked that the Demon King was secretly flirting behind Cheeseback, Emilia rushed forward to investigate but ended up falling down the stairs again. Thankfully, the Demon King caught her just in time. The girl's name was Linne, a new neighbor who had just moved next door and was apparently a great cook. Before leaving, Emilia warned Linne not to get close to that guy. Then, as expected, she performed another flawless trip and fall act, living up to her title as the sole divine sword of justice. Meanwhile, a new KFC opened across from the Demon King's part-time job, sparking intense competition, and the Demon King was temporarily appointed as acting manager. During lunch, Chi noticed the Demon King brought a homemade lunchbox. Her sixth sense told her it was definitely made by some girl. Pressured by Chi's dominance, the Demon King reluctantly opened the first layer of the bento. Not impressive. But then came the second layer, a sweet heart-shaped meal, leaving Chi completely defeated. That evening, Emilia encountered a mysterious figure and summoned her holy sword in defense. But the assassin wielded a death scythe, and the purple light in his eyes nullified her sword's power. Luckily, a store clerk arrived in time and scared off the assassin with paintballs. The next day, Chi brought Emilia to the Demon King's house to spy. Sure enough, Linne was there again, and even preparing a lavish dinner. Did she think she was the lady of the house already? The peaceful dinner table was full of tension, and as everyone chatted about Linne's job hunt, the clueless Demon King invited her to work at McDonald's. Seriously? Are you trying to spark a war with the Holy Church? Samil suggested the girls help Linne pick out clothes, and Emilia happily agreed. On the way home, Chi confessed her feelings to the Demon King. She didn't care about his identity as the Demon King. She would like him no matter what. But her confession was overheard by Linne, who was passing by and metaphorically died on the spot. Emilia later arranged to meet Linne at the station, only to discover she was an airhead who couldn't use modern tech and had never ridden a train. How did she even get here? "I came through a boat portal," she said cheerfully. Turns out she was also from Ente Isla, but her true identity was shocking. She was the head of the Inquisition Council, a secret assassination unit that eliminates threats to the church. She had come here hoping to team up with the hero to kill the Demon King and return to correct the church's misguided ways. But Emilia refused. Defeating the Demon King was the hero's responsibility. She warned Linne not to act recklessly, or she'd get herself killed by the Demon King. So, what does this fearsome Demon King do in the human world? Conquer it? Slaughter people? Nope. At that moment, the Demon King was getting scolded by his boss because the rival KFC across the street had taken all the customers. Manager Yamazaki warned him if business didn't improve, he'd be exiled to Greenland. The Demon King was given permission to use any method to crush the competition. Then a blue-haired man named San Yue, the manager of that KFC, visited McDonald's, clearly to pick a fight. Before leaving, the cheeky San Yue even flirted with Chi. The Demon King, never one to take insults lightly, dispatched his elite guard Michelle to investigate. He also unleashed various marketing stunts: fruitless burgers, free restrooms for passers-by, all sorts of gimmicks, but none worked. In desperation, he brought out his trump card, a giant bamboo tree for the Tanabata festival, where customers could write down wishes. It worked. Crowds poured in, and the Demon King's job was saved. Because of his stellar performance, he was sent to a branch on Vice Island. From online research, they learned it was hosting a super popular haunted house attraction, and Chi guessed they might be able to absorb human fear to restore their powers. Chi invited the top wing woman Emilia to join, and upon overhearing them, Linne decided to tag along. Looking at her plain chest, she sighed. It didn't even compare to a regular hamburger. "Linne is just a fool. Ignore her," someone muttered. In the end, the Demon King earned a 5-star review from the manager. But since he was so obsessed with work, the bored Chi and crew decided to explore the haunted house. It was creepy and full of eerie tension. The moment Chi looked up, boom, jump scare. Meanwhile, Linne came across a lost little girl. Even the mighty hero was easily defeated by a haunted house, so the three of them opted for a relaxing visit to a reptile exhibit instead. On the way, they even met met a monkey with a fetish for big grannies. Due to a zookeeper's mistake, some crocodiles escaped their cages, and the amusement park descended into chaos. Just then, the Demon King appeared dramatically, absorbing the fear of the crowd and chanting a magical spell that scared the crocodiles away. Linné was stunned. Why would he use such hard-earned power to save humans? Her view of the world was shaken. That evening, on her way home, Linné, lost in thought, spotted a suspicious figure at the opposite train platform. He had angel wings. Since the Demon King spent almost all his time working, only eating and sleeping in between, his sales and public speaking skills had reached legendary levels. Landlady Xiao Mei asked him to sell foreign goods at a charity market, and he pulled it off in a single day, leading everyone to success. His efficiency was god tier. That night, the mysterious figure found Linné and asked her to kill the Demon King before he could regain full power. Remembering the disasters he brought to their world, Linné hesitated no more. She decided to assassinate him that very night and told Amelia and the others to stay out of it. Even though the Demon King had saved many lives on Earth, better safe than sorry. If he ever regained his power, who knows what might happen. Once the will to kill returned, Earth would plunge into another disaster. Xiao Qian tried to argue back with all her strength, but she could never shake off Linai's deep hatred toward the Demon King. That's when Emilia spoke up, saying he wished to preserve Earth's current peace and was the first to oppose anyone who tried to start a war again. Linai was stunned that a former hero would now stand on the side of the Demon King and immediately declared that Emilia had clearly changed. At that moment, a black-clad figure suddenly launched a surprise attack with a massive scythe, but thankfully, Emilia reacted just in time, yelling, "You dare ambush me? Are you tired of living?" She summoned her giant sword. The music flared and she charged forward, but she was completely outmatched. The attacker removed their hood, revealing themselves to be the blue-haired manager from Kentucky, whose true identity was the church's ruling angel, Shalia. He had been sent to retrieve the hero's holy sword and possessed the special ability of the Seraph's divine gaze, which suppressed holy artifacts and made him a natural nemesis to heroes. Emilia couldn't fight back at all, while Xiao Qian tried to call for help but was instantly hypnotized by Linai. Meanwhile, the Demon King didn't receive Xiao Qian's call, but got one from his mother instead, scolding him for not returning home yet. Having investigated the situation, he realized there was no record of anyone in Kentucky with blue hair and immediately sensed something was wrong. So he grabbed his broom, mounted his headless rider bike, and launched into a whirlwind rescue mission. On a distant rooftop, Emilia was being tortured, and Xiao Qian was tied up nearby, her limbs bound, helplessly screaming as she refused to give up the sword. The Demon King rushed to her rescue, but was blocked by a magical barrier. Pushing his thin reserves of magic to the limit, he struck with full force. Just then, Linai descended from the sky and slammed into the ground, shattering it. The Demon King escaped, but his beloved headless rider bike was destroyed in the process. Tears filled the poor Demon King's eyes as he shouted, "You owe me a new bike!" Linai didn't even reply. She just swung her hammer at him. The Demon King quickly yelled to stop and then started taking off his clothes. He explained he didn't want the fight to ruin his outfit. After all, the overalls were rented. Linai sneered, "Only a broke Demon King like you would care about that." Furious and embarrassed, she swung again, and this time the Demon King was shirtless. "Help me! Somebody hide me!" he cried out. The Demon King had long suspected Linai's true identity. What kind of beautiful woman would live next door to a bunch of men and always be cooking? Realizing she'd been played, Linai exploded with rage and struck him so hard he actually got injured. With most of his magic used up breaking the barrier, the Demon King was now practically powerless, but Linai couldn't bring herself to land a killing blow. Deep down, she didn't fully agree with Shalai's actions, and this Demon King didn't seem truly evil. He explained that the real mastermind this time was the ruling angel, and the closer he got to the moon, the stronger he became. Attacking him now was suicide. The Demon King gave a sly smile and said, "Don't pretend, my dear. You also want me to beat him and save Amelia and Xiao Qian, don't you?" Meanwhile, Qi Yuan of Galadon was secretly watching the Demon King from afar when his former ally Aorba knocked on his door, now determined to make a comeback with the ruling angel's support. He urged Qi Yuan to join him again, and this time Qi Yuan agreed. Back on the rooftop, Sha Li had begun stripping down, preparing to pull the holy sword from his own body. Disgusted by his shamelessness, Zhao Qian cursed him out, but Sha Li only grinned wickedly and said, "You're next. I'll have fun with your wife too." At this moment, the Demon King was still climbing the stairs with difficulty, panting heavily as he finally reached the rooftop. An angel and a demon now stood face to face, exchanging barbed insults. "So this great angel was just a perfume-wearing creepy store manager in disguise? And you even dared to kidnap my adorable subordinate?" the Demon King snarled. "Ha! You pathetic Demon King! What can you do to me?" Shalai mocked and effortlessly blasted him away with a single blow. "Is this the same Demon King who once ruled the world?" he sneered. It was the night of the full moon, and Shalai's power had reached its peak. Unless something unexpected happened, the Demon King was doomed to fall here. But alas, every villain has a foolish ally. On a nearby rooftop, Bishop Alba raised his hands and began chanting madly. Together, they pulled the moon closer to Earth's surface. With With the intense moonlight boosting him, Shali underwent a terrifying transformation. But what they didn't expect was that this sudden phenomenon triggered global panic, and the fear generated was something demons could absorb. A terrifying storm surged through the air, and the Demon King, now with full health and rippling 8-pack abs, revived in full power. With just the strength of his underwear, he casually broke Amelia's chains. In this moment, everyone's loyalties began to shift, and even former enemies started doubting the ruling angel and Alba. But this time, Qi Yuan did not betray anyone. Transformed, he punched Alba hard in the face. Who needs another world when being a homebody is this awesome? Now, in his peak state, the Demon King faced Shalai, who struck first with an ultimate version of the Chinese Divine Eye. The two clashed wildly, exchanging blow after blow. Shalai, who only knew how to dodge, was finally cornered as the Demon King shredded him with a heavy punch. Realizing he was losing, Shalai tried to take Xiao Qian hostage, but the Demon King had predicted this. However, his power was so immense that even Amelia was caught in the blast. The Demon King leapt forward to hold her in his arms, a scene so moving that even the others couldn't believe they were seeing the Demon King and the hero being so sweet. But Shalai still didn't shut up, so the Demon King, filled with holy rage, summoned the Death Holy Sword. After everything ended, only to get scolded by the manager for skipping shifts. Then, to everyone's surprise, they found Shali in the restaurant's freezer, despite being supposedly sent back to another world by Suhua. But none of that mattered anymore. An enemy had shown up in the store's fridge, looking like a creepy black-faced stalker, and the manager responded by bashing him with her high heel. With the otherworldly chaos now over, the Demon King could finally relax. Linda and Xiao Qian competed to serve him, while Amelia, the main wife, could barely tolerate their antics. One day, Amelia discovered that a truckload of boxes had been delivered to the Demon King's house. Could this be supplies from the demon realm? Was he scheming again? She and Xiao Qian rushed to the construction site where he was working, but the Demon King claimed he didn't know anything. After some threats, they learned the truth. Qi Yuan had been scammed by a shady salesman and spent 120,000 buying tons of useless junk. A mere human dared to cheat a demon? Furious, the Demon King called the store, demanding a refund with a thundering voice. The package had already been opened, so the store refused to accept any returns, which made the Demon King so furious that he stormed straight to the store, only to swing open the door and find Escher standing there. Turns out, this guy was the same person who had answered the phone earlier, but he had been tricked into coming as well, thinking it was just a regular after-sales service job. Just then, the real culprit behind all the chaos, the red-haired company president, finally appeared, shamelessly twisting the truth and playing innocent, claiming that everything was done voluntarily and that the customer had even signed the agreement. Can you believe that? Even the Demon King was left speechless. In a case like this, even calling the police wouldn't help. But on their way back, Amelia suddenly thought of a loophole. If his age on Earth was 17, that meant he was legally a minor. After checking with the right people, they confirmed that any contract signed by a minor is invalid. And just like that, the problem was solved. The Demon King couldn't help but laugh when he saw the red-haired president's face twisted in embarrassment. It was the first time he had solved a problem without using magic, relying solely on human laws. It really did seem like this once world-ending Demon King was genuinely trying to settle down on Earth. And so the story ends. Across generations, Demon Kings have battled with brave warriors, but this pair might just end up wrestling each other into the dust. After all, while most people cross into fantasy worlds to show off their strength, this Demon King crossed over to Earth just to eat dirt. Truly a rare and refreshing kind of Demon King.